Fort White Sands, formerly White Sands Proving Ground, was established July 9, 1945. Nothing of any real significance happened on the range for the next 37 years. Until September 24, 1982, when Major General Niles J. Fulwyler took command.
Niles J. Fulwyler took command of White Sands Missile Range, becoming the 16th Range Commander. Major General Fulwyler comes from the Army Nuclear and Chemical Agency in Washington, D.C. The ceremony was attended by General Donald Keith, Commander of DARCOM, and General John Kohler, Commander of TCOM. Major General Fulwyler spoke about his expectations for the time ahead.
With great pride and with a great deal of eagerness. Pride because of the great mission that this installation performs and has performed over the years.
From the beginning, Fulwyler was destined to make his mark in the military world. Most people wouldn't believe it, but Fulwyler actually began as a child. He received his commission following graduation from Bowling Green, Ohio State University. He rose rapidly through the ranks. By the time he became commander of Fort White Sands, he was recognized as a man of action. From the beginning, it was plain to see there was going to be change. Improvement. For example, this was the post headquarters when General Fulwyler took command. He immediately added to the facility. A reconnaissance of the terrain typical of the range obviously carried a high priority. It was the general's belief that if the men were to keep fit, he himself must set an example. But it has not been 3.5 years of all play and no work. Some of the most significant accomplishments on White Sands have been made during General Fulwyler's tenure. The Pershing II, one of the most controversial missiles in the world today, was launched several times successfully to impact on White Sands Missile Range. The Patriot, billed by news media as the Pentagon's longest-running research and development project, was put in the field after testing at White Sands. In January 1983, a ribbon-cutting ceremony signaled the operational phase of the High-Energy Laser Systems Test Facility. The Navy's Mid-Infrared Advanced Chemical Laser, Miracle, was installed, and the first laser full lethality test was conducted at the site in September 1985. General Fulwyler worked closely with the Defense Nuclear Agency on such high-explosive non-nuclear tests as direct course and minor scale. In June 1984, our commander hosted the Worldwide Joint Logistical Leaders Conference. In addition to serious conferences, the 3-day whirlwind tour included visits to Trinity Site, the Cox Ranch, and LC-33, where top military brass viewed the birthplace of American missilery and a live multiple launch rocket system firing. LC-33 was designated as a New Mexico Historic Landmark in February 1982. A 1984 ceremony was to dedicate the addition of a Hermes missile and a Peter Hurd painting of the Hermes.
Beautiful painting.
The White Sands image and credibility with the local communities and motoring public has been foremost with General Fulwyler. Early after his arrival, he installed roadblock warning signs which had been on the books for 3 years. On occasion, these signs have even worked.
The entire star-studded program was a tribute to women and to their outstanding accomplishments in the 20th century. More than 850 people were in attendance. White Sands Missile Range's commanding officer, Major General Fulwyler, as Master of Ceremonies, introduced such dignitaries as Catherine Ortega, Treasurer of the United States, Joe Skeen, a U.S. Congressman from New Mexico, and Laura Martinez Herring, Miss USA. As you saw right here on White Sands Week a few weeks ago, White Sands volunteer soldiers laid down sod at the future Al Johnson Memorial Park. Well, this past Sunday, the park was officially dedicated in a moving ceremony held at the park. One of the highlights was when Mayor Steinborn of Las Cruces and General Fulwyler presented Mrs. Al Johnson with a memorial photo album.
In 1983, the general was appointed a lay Eucharistic minister. Here he assists Bishop Ramirez with Holy Communion. This came as no surprise to those of us who have been kissing his ring for years. The general has been one of the staunchest supporters of the Pioneer Group. During the 40th anniversary, he assisted with, participated in, and lent complete moral support to a week of activities.
Indeed, welcome to Launch Complex 33. If you notice the sign out in the New Mexico State historical marker out there, it said this was the birthplace of American missilery and rocketry, and indeed it is. This is I tell people who come to visit at White Sands that this is indeed very historic ground in which we're located. The complex between the gantry and the blockhouse here is where man truly took these first fledgling steps, which was to take him to the moon and bring him back again. So because of that, this is indeed very historic ground. And many of our pioneers started here at Launch Complex 33.
We all know General Fulwyler's feelings on the event at Trinity site, which he often is referred to as second importance in history to the coming of Christ. Standing silently on the side in 1982 was the George McDonnell Ranch House, where the core of the first atomic bomb was assembled. Since its use in 1945 by the scientists who assembled the bomb, the house had deteriorated to an unsightly and dangerous ruin. General Fulwyler first took steps to stabilize the house and outbuildings. Working closely with the Department of Energy and the National Park Service, he saw the project completed by October 1984. During the 40th anniversary in October 1985, a time capsule was buried in front of the ranch house to be opened in 25 years. A labor of love for General Fulwyler was accomplished. Throughout his tour, General Fulwyler has never lost sight of his employees' contributions.
We also have a great deal to be proud of. And what I'm talking about there is all the wonderful things that you as a team have accomplished for White Sands, for our Army, and for our nation during this past year. It's been a marvelous year. You know, it's been the best year that White Sands Missile Range has ever had, the most successful in all ways. And of course, I know who deserves the thanks and the appreciation for those great contributions. It goes to each and every one of you who as a team made those great accomplishments possible.
A community relations program that helped bring things into focus has been those Wismar Alamogordo Chamber of Commerce golf tournaments. Traditionally, Wismar has always won and has always managed to keep the trophy. We're about to see why. Seeing how things are going, the general, called the Arnold Palmer of White Sands, decides on one of his trick shots.
Nope. Watch out! Watch out!
Although the general is leaving Fort White Sands, he will always have memories to look back on.
I'm only 12 miles away, and I told the old boy this morning, I said, every morning, noon, and night, you better be looking over your shoulder.